Hey, like I had a couple of harsh, or I guess some constructive criticisms. Like this game, this one was called Tanapo, and that's I know some of you guys kind of like liked it. I had a bunch of good comments from it, but for me, I never like took it personally when people leave me comments or feedback. Like for example, this person said, "I like the art style; it's amazing." That they look forward to all the work that they put. Some people say, "Oh, it's cool puzzles," but some of it is like kind of hard, right? I think a lot of people have some issues too. Like some people were like, "Oh, can you do this?" Love the art. However, I always stuck where the dialogue keeps repeating over and over. Can you fix it? That sort of thing, right? For me, I never took it kind of like personal. I say, "Oh, that's a bug. I need to fix that." I think it's more when you get feedback from somebody or player that you make a game. Always never take it personal. Like never be such a hard critic on yourself. Always think about it as the person's trying to help you become a better developer. Even if it's like a really hard criticism, right? Always kind of like think, okay, why did this person make this comment? Were they just frustrated, or was the game good, but they kind of like wanted to play more into it? Think about it that way. Always think about it in a positive look, not in never in a negative look. I know for some people it's hard because I've seen sometimes when a manager is trying to discipline someone, but not even like a discipline. It's like kind of like a recommendation. Some employees get really mad. They're like, "Oh, what are you talking about? I've been working, my ass off on this and blah 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 blah." Right? It's nothing personal against the person or the person doing the critiquing. Right? A lot of times you have to kind of like take a deep breath and just think of why the person was kind of like critiquing you that way. It's never always on the negative side. They're not always trying to put you down. It could be something where they're trying to like say, hey, maybe you can try this, or how about you try this next time? And a lot of times you find it really positive and you go, okay, I can try that for next time. Like when they told me, for example, this is a Unity issue, by the way. So if you guys use Unity 3D and you try to put music or sound, the first thing that you get is a really loud sound effect, right? I don't know, but if you guys ever use Unity 3D and you put a music, any kind of like little tiny sound effect, Unity just like doubles it in a freaking volume. So when people play the game, they're like, oh, dang, it just like rung on my ear. So a lot of people were complaining about that. Say, all right, well, I think what I can do is I can make a volume controller. And then after that, like, oh yeah, let me lower the volume a little bit here. Here we go. That's better. Because the thing is, not everybody keeps the same volume as you do. Some people want it lower, some people have it higher, right? It's good to kind of have that options where you can change it to whatever you want. Yep, volume should always be at 50% when starting the game. Yeah, especially with Unity 3D. And I think those are good constructive criticisms when people tell you, oh, by the way, this volume is just crazy loud, right? But on your end, you're like, I don't hear anything. But when you hear somebody, or like when you see someone streaming it or do something, you go, "Oh, damn, it's really loud. I didn't think it was that loud." But what it is just everyone has their own settings. Like some people like the split screen, some people like the full screen, right? Some people have smaller monitors, bigger monitors, and it comes out differently on other people's computer, right? On their end, maybe they have little lighting, less lighting, that sort of thing. Those are the things that you kind of like have to take on to feedback, right? When someone is trying to say, hey, I'm not complaining, I'm just saying on my end it looks bad. Maybe on your computer it looks bad, but on my end it looks really bad. Don't take it personally. Always take a deep breath on it and then read it once, and then read it twice and three times and four times and think, okay, what is this person trying to tell me? Is this person trying to be harsh, or are they trying to be mean? Or maybe they're just trying to help me out and just not being too personal with it. Yeah, when loading a game the first time, I can't do anything until load. I make like 50%, I want it louder. We'll turn it up and then, oh yeah, that's perfect. Once you have the controller, I like doing the volume controller. So I leave it in the settings. So there's usually like a settings that I leave, and I can change it, move it around on the slider, and then that way if they want it louder, they can have it louder, or they can have it lower, right? Or maybe the size of the the screen is too small, right? They might want it bigger. That sort of thing. Controls too, right? You can have different controls. And I think that's usually what I mean by having thick skin for feedback. Kind of like not take things personal. Like this person says, I love your art style, however, I always get stuck. It's like, yeah, for sure, right? It's part of the testing, right? It's part of the testing. When you get a bug and it says, hey, by the way, I can't play your game because, keeps getting stuck on the narrative. It's nothing bad. It's just say, oh, shoot, I didn't think about doing this. And then you thought about it. So that's kind of like a good thing. It's not. Some people say, very promising start, right? Love the aesthetics. And that's always good. When you have a promising start, you have something positive, you can show, you can say, okay, where can I improve? Where I can change and where I can change at and then make my game much better. It's never take it, especially on itch.io. I think itch is, you'll find more players and game developers much nicer with what they say. Maybe on Steam. On Steam, I can't deny. Steam is a different issue. But on itch.io, you'll see the comments. They won't be as harsh on you. Because they know what it is like to make a game. I know what it's like. So whenever I make a critique or a comment on somebody's game, I say, hey, this is a great game, right? And usually they are. Usually if I put a comment, it's because it's a good game. But try doing this sort of thing, right? Some people will say, no, I'm not going to change it. I was like, all right, that's fair, right? Or some people say, yeah, thank you for the feedback. Appreciate it. Yeah, try to be also, as a game developer, polite to the other person making the game. Know that it took them a lot of hours. It took a lot of dedication. It wasn't something that, they could have done right away. It's a learning process, right? I've been doing this for what, 6 years already? Game development? And there's still too many things I still don't know about, right? I'm still learning. I'm still pretty much learning new things. Well, you can say that about AAA game developers too. There's a couple of new ones. Just because you're friendly doesn't mean you should always be positive. Sometimes it'll be better for them if it's a horrible game. So if it's a really, really bad game, say, okay, you're in the right... You kind of like want to cushion it. You know what I mean? Especially on itch. Especially if you know the person's brand new. You can kind of cushion and say, okay, well, it's your first game. It's not too bad. Just might try doing this for next time. That sort of thing is fine. But you don't want to be like dishonest to them either, right? You don't want to say, oh, this is a great game. You did such a good job, right? You want to be in a way saying, this is a good start. Try this, try that. Right? Kind of like how they say with me. It's a good start, right? For me, it's a very promising start. Love the whole aesthetics, right? That's a very positive review. Right? But there's bugs here, then there's that. Yeah. Don't discourage them, but be honest and suggest solutions. Don't just say it sucks, and also don't say this game is amazing when it is not. Exactly. Yeah, be honest, right? People know when you're honest. But don't be too harsh, right? Be to the point where they have feedback, constructive feedback, right? And if you're the one doing the critiquing. And if you're the one taking the feedback, then don't take it too personally. If they say something, maybe negative that you might not like, that you might have worked on, your baby, because technically it's your baby. I never took it as a negative thing. Always think about it in the positive outlook. But yeah. Alright. Now, if you get someone that's an asshole and says, hey, your game sucks, and I hope you hurt yourself or something, or whatever it may be, right? Don't take it personally. You can always delete it or just say, this guy's crazy. Man, doesn't know what he's talking about, right? You're gonna have people like that. But it's very rare, right? Especially on itch.io. It's not common that you see that. Maybe on Steam. I believe it if it's on Steam. Steam, maybe you'll find some different type of critiques. But it's never anything bad. Or you shouldn't put it on Twitter saying, look at what this guy put. He played like 300 hours of my game and he thumbs down it after the review because it had a bug or something. That's fine. All right, maybe what they're trying to tell you is, I love your game. However, I was this close to beating your game and I found this bug. That to me is more as a compliment. I would say, man, he played a lot of this game, but he kind of like got mad because there was this tiny bug that I forgot about. Not a problem. Let me fix it, right? And yeah, and never you shouldn't put a person on blast either. If it's kind of like a thing you go, okay, I can fix that. All right, if it's something that you can do, it's better. And always think of the player, right? That's the best way to do it. Think of the player, think of how much time they put and how much time you put to it, right? And you can learn from it. That's the best approach. It's never going to be a perfect game. There's never a 100% no bug game. There's always going to be one bug, right? Even the best of games have bugs. And I think that's the best approach to it, right? 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 I think that's really the good approach. I think I said all I needed on that. On having feedback and thick skin. I think thick skin is important for game developers. If you're creating something, people don't like it, eh, all right, on to the next project, right? And then you can learn from it, right? And that's really the best idea. So let's say it's a big, okay, so let's say it was a big YouTuber and he left a compliment and got thousands of like ratings on YouTube. Okay, would you have banned the people accusing you, or would you take it into consideration and need evidence to make any decisions? That's been happening in other discords and streamers, so I'm curious. Um, a compliment or complaint? Oh, complaint. Okay, and left a complaint and get thousands of ratings on YouTube. Um, that's kind of, you know what? That's a good question. So your question is, if it was maybe not a big, like a normal person or a normal player, say it was like a, I don't know, like a PewDiePie or something, like a big YouTuber that plays your game, and he puts a complaint about your game, a lot of eyes are gonna be on that game. Now, yes, it could hurt your game. That's true. Right? It could be a big streamer, or it could be a big YouTuber. If something like that happens, it could impact your game. I don't see too many. Or no, you know what? It does happen, right? A good answer to that is Asmongold, right? He does all the game reviews, and he's buried a lot of games, right? You don't hear too much about Conquered anymore. You don't hear too much about Assassin's Creed. You don't hear about too much about those games, right? Because they've done reviews on the trailers and stuff like that. They critique the heck out of it, and then there's a bunch of other YouTubers that done it, right? Those games are done very poorly because of that. So yeah, that could be, that could be a discouragement, but it shouldn't be something that AAA companies, in this case, or even as an indie game developer, you should take it personally. If you get a flop, don't take it personal. Just learn from it and move on to the next thing. Take the, what I guess some people take the F, take the fail, take it with you, and say, okay, I messed up on this game project. This is what I learned from it, right? I learned I can do better and doing this, and I can change, or we as a team can change this, so we don't make the same mistake. I think that's the best way of looking at it. If it were a big streamer, say like a PewDiePie or right, well, whatever, right, whatever it could be, a big streamer, and yeah, I wouldn't take it too personal. I would say, well, at least he had time to review it, right? All right, at least he got time to check it out. I know for companies that a lot of companies are saying, oh, that's a big thing for them. They don't want YouTubers or anyone playing their game or making comments. Usually they get scared when they do that. Oh, no, no, no. We don't want this YouTuber or, streamer playing our game. Right? We don't need the negative we don't need any feedback from them. But it shouldn't be the case. That should be something that you need. You need more of that comment where you can say, okay, well, here's what we need to do. This is what we need to change, right? And that's fine. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's part of the process, right? When you want to, like, anytime you're into an entrepreneurship, like any product, art that you make, if people don't like it, people don't like it, right? There's a lot of products people have placed out, and they say, you know what, this product sucks, right? And it bears you. A lot of times it says, okay, well, you know, I tried it, it didn't work out, right? Or maybe it was working fine before, and now it's not so much. Something might have changed. But there's people that come back from it too. right? There's a lot of people, or I guess entrepreneurships or game developers that have come back from a negative comment, right? There's people that made negative games or bad games and then made good games, or there's people that made good games in the past and then maybe something changed and then they make better games. The important thing is to learn from it and then don't take it personally and just say how can we do better. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I don't take it too personally. I know I'm a rare guy, I guess. I know for me, I'm not doing too much YouTube videos, or I know I'm not as popular as other YouTubers or game developers, but I never took it personally. I always say, okay, that's fine. How can I do better? How can I do more, better stuff? I'm doing this crap now. I'm doing Blender, I'm doing 2D, or I'm doing all kinds of things, but I never take it personally. If my game's not that good, okay, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's do something else. All right, what do you think? That's the gist of it. I think that's the best way of putting it. Yeah, and yeah, have a thick skin. Be strong. Have a thick skin, and then know this is something you're gonna get critiqued for. Anything that goes into the internet will get critiqued by you. It could be a picture. It could be something you say. Right? If you make a mean tweet or dumb tweet, the internet is gonna have you, bury you. That's the best way of putting it. And if you take it personally, then you're done.